Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's February 19th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And we had a nice uptrend today, but there weren't a lot of entries. Um, it was kind of a strange day. It looks like the holiday extended into the overnight for a while, and then we traded down, and then we traded back up, and it looked like we were going to get back in this range, and we just kept going higher. And what I would have done was I would have measured this first leg, and then once we started higher from here, I would look for a possible measured leg, which you see we pretty much got that, and then we backed off a little bit, and then we headed higher. So from there, I would have measured this other leg. I would have measured it here first, and then I would have measured it to this point, and that would have been my first target. You can see we got close to that. We didn't quite get there, then we turned around and sold off. But notice we do have a break of this two-tiered channel, moved to a new high, which we overshot, came back to the trend line, and then made a second leg up. And so you basically got a break, almost two measured legs up, and then we sold off after that. So interesting day overall. Not a lot of trades. This won't take long, so I'm going to back out a little bit, and we'll talk about the trades and be pretty quick today probably. Well, let's back out and we'll go through these real quickly. Like I said, it won't take long. There's not a lot of trades today. It was really kind of a quiet day. Notice early, you can see this just was the extension from yesterday. This is why we don't trade on holidays. There's just nothing here. You get caught in this and you get stuck, and then you got to exit at the end of the day before lunch with a loss, basically, because you probably can't get out of anything. So that's why we don't like to trade on those days. But anyway, we opened up today here, this line right here. You may not be able to see it. It's real light. And the range just continued until we finally had two legs down, a break of that little channel, moved to a new low, and then we reversed. And it was basically all uphill the rest of the day into the 2 o'clock hour. Even after the break, we had two legs up that lasted the rest of the day into 2 o'clock. And then right after 2 o'clock, we traded down. So really, for all our trading purposes today, through 2 o'clock, it was all uphill. Early on, it was hard to find an entry here. You might have considered a short right here. Notice that we're coming down. We got a break, and then you got a lower high. The reason I made this one green is that it's right into these lows. We basically have a double bottom. You don't have a lot of room here. There's maybe just enough room to get out, and if you had enough room, I'd probably be okay with that one on a little bit aggressive, but there's not much room there. And you can see it actually makes a new low, and you got a few extra ticks, so it didn't matter, but that doesn't always happen, so you got to be real careful. I was looking for a long here, but with this still being below the EMA, you really need a good higher low, and here's your higher low, and we're just kind of still sideways. We're still below the EMA. It does break on out and take off, but you need it really to break up here and pull back and give you an entry down here, and you just don't get that. There's a higher low right here, but I'm not crazy about that. Failed second entry short here, and really, if there's probably a shorter term trend line right up through here that I don't have on here. You can see that. And you've already got a break and a new high. So going long up here is not very smart at all. So, and what this turns out to be is a little spike and channel. And you come back and, you know, you can't really set this until here and get it confirmed here. And then finally, the only reason I like this one is because it is off this key entry point. We're close to being back to the EMA, but we're back inside this channel, and you see it holding here. And you get a nice bullish bar. And that's really like two legs back. That you made a high, you back up, you go forward one more time, you make a second leg back. And so even though it's a little bit congestive, there's no dojis or anything, it doesn't really look like a true congestion. It just kind of looks like prices are testing this support area right here, and it holds, and it's still crawling up that trend line. So I like that one. Just hoping you can move on up here to the high. It does run up here to the top of this channel again, and to where I think there's a bigger two-tiered channel in here. You probably wouldn't have had that yet, but it didn't matter because it runs up to the top of this channel, and then it sails off. And of course it does. It comes back down here. Draw that trend line, it comes back and confirms it here, And it actually gives you a second entry long. Look at that high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, nice bullish reversal type bar. A little higher low right here, right at that support resistance again. And it actually pulls back and tests it again. I'm not crazy. When it didn't take off here, I wasn't crazy about it. So it does pull back here, and notice what happens here. This closes on its low and it breaks lower, and it turns instantly and goes out the other side. I like going long right there because that's probably going to be a failed, that's probably going to be a little short trap right there. And notice how it closes back in this channel and off it goes. Boom. There's a higher low right here. It's right into this midline, and it is right at this channel. It's a possibility. I didn't mark it. You might mark that one green. And this one I marked green too. It's a little bit aggressive, but it's one of those that it turns out to be kind of a not a major low for the day, but I'm sorry, my phone's going crazy, but it turns out to be an important low of the day, and you can see we made two measured legs up from there. So I like those two. Nothing fancy about them. They're both a little bit aggressive. We run up here, and notice we got a little break here. It's fairly convincing. It runs up here, and you get an overshoot, and then you come back. It pushes up here. It bounces right off the trend line again. I mean, you just want to stay out of this. We've already had a measured leg up, and really what this is two legs of correction. There's a leg here, and then there's another leg here, and it's basically two measured legs, and then it bounces. This bounces right off the trend line after a little break and a new low. And so you might take this entry right here. Again, after we've already had a break and a new high, I'd want to wait on a higher low, which doesn't come to here. And it does close above the EMA. When it made these 3-bar matching highs here, though, I'm just not that crazy about it. But breaks above here, we're probably going to run up and get back, at least try to get back in this channel. And it just keeps going. And the reason I marked this one is we broke through up here, made a new high, pulled back to that trend line and basically the EMA, and then went higher. And so it's a little breakout pullback long, and it's just creeping up that trend line. And so we're probably going to run up and make another new high. And I would be looking for a measured leg, as I've already shown you. And that's going to put us back up here to the top of this channel somewhere. We don't quite get there, but it's close enough, and that would have given you a nice target. So I kind of like that one, and I made that one blue just because there weren't a whole lot of trades. I mean, it was obvious this is one of those that's starting to look like a real strong trend again, creeping up through here, and it turns out to be a fairly decent trade. You could almost argue for that one to be green too. But when there hadn't been any more trades than that, that's probably as good as you're going to get for the day. This is a strong trend. This is one of those where you get lots of little stems and a few dojis, but it just keeps creeping up. Usually they go longer and further than that before they correct like this. But you can see it's starting back here, so I would just look for another leg similar to this last one and see what happens. And I would at least look for prices once they push through to pull back and try to test this midline before going higher, and that's what happens here. But this little shorter term trend line is holding, and so prices can't quite get back to that midline before they shoot off again. So again, not many trades today. It looks like, even though it continued to kind of move higher, it looks like the volume's off a little today compared to what we have been seeing. So it's probably just one of those instances of kind of the hangover from the holiday continuing on into the next day, even though it's pretty much a strong trend all the way up. There just weren't a lot of good setups or good entries. There's just not a lot of good price action here. So, and there's probably some others you could argue for in here that are green or whatever, but you notice I don't really have any shorts in here because this is one of those that looks like a strong trend, and you just got to stay with it. So even though we are coming back to the EMA a few times here, we're consistently mostly above it. So I just think you're better off. And this is a perfect 45-degree from corner to corner of the chart kind of chart you want to see for a good healthy trend. So that was another piece of it too. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for today. There's just not much to talk about here today. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.